The first article I wanted to look at is titled "Prophet Robin Bullock Says Biden's Stairs Stumble is a sign of his president is a sign his presidency is finished." This is by Kyle Mantilla on rightwingwatch.org. So let's give it a read and see what it says. Self-proclaimed prophet Robin Bullock used his church service Tuesday to declare that President Joe Biden's recent stumble while climbing the stairs to Air Force One was a prophetic sign that his presidency is finished. I don't know if you guys heard about this, but I didn't even watch the video or anything. I heard that there was a video of it. I saw a picture of it. But basically, Biden is walking up the stairs, I think, on Air Force One, and he stumbled. And then he got up, kept going up the stairs. No big deal, right? People are losing their fucking minds over this. I mean, like this guy here. This is not a nobody. Pastor Robin Bullock, people listen to him. People watch him. I started covering him a while back on my channel. And people started messaging me, telling me their grandma watches him, their aunts watch him. Like, he's a popular figure in the evangelical community. And he's sitting here telling us that Biden tripping on the stairs, stumbling up the stairs, is a sign from God that his presidency is finished. It does not get more absurd than this. Why did he pick this incident from Biden to point out that his presidency is finished instead of the countless fucking stumbles that Trump had when he was president? Dude couldn't lift a glass of water with one hand. You guys remember that shit? The evangelicals were fucking silent on that one. Usually the president is kind of old. That's historically what it's been. Presidents are up there in years. That kind of thing is going to happen from time to time. It does not surprise me when a president like trips or stumbles or whatever, right? I don't understand why it's such a huge, massive fucking deal to everybody. But yeah, Robin Bullock saying that Biden's stumbling up the stairs is a sign his presidency is finished. And remember, he's speaking for God. He's speaking through God's mouth. He is God's mouthpiece on earth in this scenario. Let's keep reading. Bullock is among the group of self-proclaimed prophets who guaranteed that Donald Trump would win the 2020 election and who now adamantly refuse to accept that their prophecies were wrong, even though Biden has been in office for over 2 months. I wondered what these people were going to do, these self-proclaimed prophets, what they were going to say, how they're going to explain their gaffe, claiming that God told them that Trump was going to win the presidency, and now he doesn't. I wondered how they were going to explain it away. And honestly, I think Bullock had probably the most creative explanation out of any of the others. We got a lot of answers from people. Some said, oh, he really is secretly the president, and you just didn't, we didn't see the inauguration. It was done in secret. He's really pulling the strings behind the scenes. And some just kind of walked away from it, pretended they never made any claims in the first place. Some are doubling down, saying any day now Trump is going to be re-inaugurated. But Robin Bullock had an interesting one. Robin Bullock says it's up to Trump. He has to choose to be the president. If he walked into the White House tomorrow, then God would supernaturally push things out of the way. But if he doesn't choose to, because God doesn't force anybody to do anything, then he just won't be. So it's really Donald Trump's choice not to be the president again. I mean, if you listen to what Donald Trump says for 30 seconds, hell, for 5 seconds, that's complete bullshit nonsense. But it was still a creative explanation, a creative way to kind of get yourself out of the little jam you created. Anyway, there's a clip that goes with Robin Bullock's little claims here. So let's give this clip a watch and see what he had to say.
But what the Ides of March is, it's the middle of the month. It's the middle of March. It's the 15th of March. That's the Ides of March. And on that day, the most famous thing that happened on the Ides of March is Julius Caesar was killed.
I just want to pause here real quick. I'm not really sure why the Ides of March are relevant. Is it like a religious thing? Is there a biblical thing that makes the Ides of March special? Or is he just naming a day? Let me tell you something about March 13th. On March 13th, that's a special day, 'cause blah, blah, blah. Is there some special religious significance to the Ides of March that I'm unaware of? I don't know.
The most famous thing that happened on the Ides of March is Julius Caesar was killed. The military took him down on the Ides of March. And on March 15th, on the Ides of March, this is when it coincides with us.
Again, what's the significance? Who gives a shit if it's like the Ides of March? Who gives a shit if it's like March 15th? Who cares if it's like March 23rd? Like, why does that matter? I don't understand. Is there religious significance that I'm missing here? I've never heard anything from like any of like my elders or anything when I was a Jehovah's Witness about that. And they tried to teach us about a lot of different religious cultures just so that we could combat their arguments or whatever.
And if you'll notice, after the Ides of March on the 15th, when Joe Biden started up those steps, this was 5 days, I think, later. It was 5 days after the Ides of March, I believe.
Well, hold on now. So the Ides of March are apparently the religiously significant thing, right? Not 5 days after the Ides of March. Which is it? Was it March 15th that's important or March 20th? There is no significance if it's not on this one day that you picked to be significant, right?
This was 5 days, I think, later. It was 5 days after the Ides of March. I believe it was. Right after that came, because that time filled a time. It filled one of those squares. What is the Ides of March? Did you know on the 15th of March it was there that Hitler told the leader of Czechoslovakia, we're invading you?
Okay, I'm really not seeing the significance here, like at all. Actually, on that note, I'll tell you what, this could be interesting. Hang on. Let me pull something up real quick. Give me a second. Check this shit out. I actually discovered this a while back because Stephen Hawking took great pride in the fact that he shared a birthday with Galileo, I think. I don't remember exactly what it was. Maybe he was born on Galileo's death or something like that. Anyway, out of curiosity, I looked up my birthday, and you can do this. Just Google your birthday. Mine is July 20th, and see what happened throughout history on July 20th, or your birthday. So I personally take a lot of pride in the fact, I don't know why, it's just a fucking day, but I take pride in the fact that on my birthday, 1969, Apollo 11's crew successfully makes the first manned landing on the moon in the Sea of Tranquility. I was born on the 20th anniversary of the moon landing. I figured that out ultimately because George H.W. Bush came out on my birthday, July 20th, 1989, and gave a big speech about how important the moon landing was or whatever. But you can go to Wikipedia and just Google your birthday, and it'll give you all kinds of really, really interesting stuff. 1977, the Johnstown flood of 1977. Let's see, 1985, the government of Aruba passes legislation to secede from the Netherlands Antilles. You've got, these are major events. AD 70, Siege of Jerusalem. 792, Kardam of Bulgaria defeats Byzantine Emperor Constantine VI. You know, these are events, and then you got births, important people's births. I share a birthday with, let's see, anybody that I know right off the top of my head here? I share a birthday with Jimmy Carson. Jimmy Carson, American ice hockey player. Don't even know who that is, but still, I share a birthday with him. I share a birthday with Javier Cortez, Mexican footballer, and Christian Pasquato, Italian footballer. And then famous deaths. Kamal Dasgupta, Maria Martinez, Canadian physician, American football player, German archaeologist. I mean, you can just go here and look up all kinds of interesting events on any day of the year. There's a Wikipedia page for every single day of the year. So I don't know what this guy is trying to get at exactly, Robin Bullock. I don't know what he's getting at by saying like all these significant things that happened in this time frame. There are a billion fucking significant events throughout history that happened in a time frame, in a single day, let alone a time frame. Dude just seems completely full of shit to me. Let's keep watching the clip.
told the leader of Czechoslovakia, we're invading you. And right after that meeting, it had such an impact, the man had a heart attack and died. So on the Ides of March. Now the Ides of March is the 74th day of the Roman calendar. And it coincides with the 15th day of March here. Now, it was marked by several religious services, and it was notable for the Romans, listen to this, as a deadline date for settling affairs or settling.
So basically like a tax deadline, like ours is April 15th. Why is this significant? I don't get it. Who cares? It's just another fucking day of the year. And you can go to this fucking website here and look up all kinds of other historical shit that happened on any day of the year. There's nothing special about this date. Never heard of it referred to in the Bible or by religious evangelical nutbags or any of that shit. I don't know what he's trying to get at here.
Debts. It was the day for settling debts on the Ides of March.
So it was April 15th.
Finalities came on the Ides of March. And it's like we were talking that day. On the 15th of March, it filled a time that is famous. There's a lot of things happened. You can look up what's happened on the 15th of March. But it was when that came in the earth and the military took Julius Caesar's power from him. He was a tyrant.
You see this from pastors and extreme right-wing nutbags all the time. They're desperately trying to find meaning in something that just doesn't have it. Like the face on Mars. You guys remember that whole big thing? Everybody saw what looked to be a face on Mars, and it was just a rock formation. Our minds want to find patterns in things, desperately want to see patterns in things. Sometimes there just isn't a fucking pattern, man. Sometimes there's just nothing there. And this guy is not only detecting patterns that just aren't there, he's telling people God told him that there is a pattern there and that he is correct and that you need to believe him because he speaks for God. New level of disgusting to me.
He was a tyrant. And I believe, just like you and I were talking about,
the key word there, believe. I believe. Notice that. He didn't say, I know for a matter of fact, and I'm going to provide the evidence and the proof to you so that you will also know, as a matter of fact, that this is true. He didn't say that. He said, I believe. If he had evidence, it wouldn't be a belief. It would be a fact.
Just like you and I were talking about. I believe on the 15th of March, a power came into the earth to remove tyrants from their seats of authority. And a few days after that, you saw Biden fall trying to get up to Air Force One, and he couldn't get up there. He finally had to just grab each side and run.
So he's saying that on March 15th, power came to Earth to force Biden out. Why is he doubling down on this again? Come on. He came up with a clever escape route by saying that Trump had to want to be the president to take it over again. He could have left it at that and ignored it and just walked away. Why is he coming back to this same tired shit? Now he's making brand new claims, and he's going to have to back those up with evidence. Or be proven wrong, one or the other. And ultimately, eventually, he will be proven wrong here. Because Biden isn't going to leave political power until his term is up. The Democrats, at least, will retain political power until 2024. I mean, even if Biden left for some reason, like got sick or something, Kamala Harris would take over. Trump is not getting back in the White House. That's just what it is.
The first time it was a little stumble. The second one was a bigger stumble. And the third one, he fell all the way down. He's finished. He's done.
No, I think he made it up the stairs after that. I don't think he's finished or he's done, right?
When he fell all the way down. He's finished. He's done.
No, he made it. He made it. He's not finished. He's fine. He got to the top and then he went about his business like nothing happened. He's not finished. He's not done. He's going to remain the president until the end of his term or until he gets too sick to do the job, just like every president throughout history. That's how it's always worked. That's how it's going to continue to work. This guy is not going to give up on this. And I have no idea why he wants to continue embarrassing himself by driving this point home further and further, continuing to claim that Trump is going to be put back in as president. Just give it up, man. You had a clever little explanation. Just stop there and continue doing your weird little sermon. Like, give up on the politics because you failed at it miserably already.